looks way more...
Not clunky.
Not clunky. You know, I'm not bilingual, but I do know a little Indian.
Yeah?
Yeah, his name is Suresh Singh. He's about this tall. Welcome back to Crossthread Garage and Salvage. I'm Steve, this is my daughter Caitlin, and this week we're putting a trans tunnel and floors in Caitlin's 41 Ford, powered by a 7.3 Powerstroke and a 6-speed manual transmission. Should be fun. And we basically have everything we need laid out here in front of us. Measuring tape, soapstone, and a cutoff wheel.
Zoom, zoom.
I feel like I'm forgetting something, though. I remember what it was. You also need the washing machine that almost tried to burn your house down while everyone was home over Christmas break. Now, I'm no maverick mechanic, but I am a fairly poor fabricator, and I've been called a terrible human being by Alvin's Restoration Wisdom 1958 on YouTube for cutting up this classic truck and turning it into a modern abomination.
Well, I got bad news for you, Alan.
It's Alvin.
Him too.
Now, some of you out there in YouTube land might be actually smarter than old Alvin, and you're wondering to yourself, was that a good idea, cutting the floor out? You got washing machine metal there, Steve-O. Listen, thought about this before I did any of this. Unlike a lot of things my wife accuses me of doing, which is not thinking before I act. But I want to show you something here. I've got this old sheet metal measurement tool that I found in a, I don't know, milk carton of something at an auction somewhere. Anyways, it will show you here how thick a piece of metal is. The sheet metal that came out of there, you can get in there, is 18 gauge. So that's the old floor, 18 gauge metal. This is going to be the new floor. Actually, this is going to be the new trans tunnel. I haven't showed you the new floors yet. And it is, can you get around here, Caitlin? It is 18, maybe even 17 gauge. I don't know, it's stopping ahead of the 18. Anyways, it's at least as thick. Now, here's the thing. I sat there looking at that crisp, flat, clean sheet of metal, and I thought to myself, once I bend that, it'll be nice and strong. It won't oil can on me. What am I going to do for the floors? Because, you know, they weren't in the greatest shape. They weren't, you know, totally square. We kind of butchered them getting the cab in there over top of the transmission. And I thought to myself, you know what a guy's got? Got a washing machine with 2 sides.
4 sides.
Well, there were 2 sides. That's the front. And then there was no back. Actually, the back was galvanized, but that doesn't matter. And what do we have here? Nice piece of pressed steel. It's basically already bead rolled. But I think we can take this pressed square here that's going to offer some rigidity to the floor like those pressed lines did in the old floor and make this thing work. I don't know that that's actually going to work. I'm just saying I think we can make it work, Caitlin.
Hopefully.
So one of the challenges here is that this engine and transmission are not actually centered in the chassis. So the distance between the frame rail here and the side of the transmission and the side of the transmission and the frame rail over here is significantly larger on the driver's side. That's because everything is offset for the steering gear to have room up there inside of the frame. So what we're going to be doing is taking that sheet of metal from the sides, cutting out a pattern that's going to fit in here. We're actually going to bend it so it comes up here in the corner. So the floor should start up here, come straight down, and then come straight back. Once we get the transmission tunnel in, then we'll tie that into the sides. That'll give it some rigidity. And then once we finally get the firewall built here, it's all going to be hanging together. There won't be any flop in the floor once that's all connected to the firewall, transmission tunnel, floors. That's the plan. Don't feel great about it, but it's the best one I got right now. So We definitely need to get a wire wheel in here, clean up all this rusty metal on the floor, clean up all the way along the edge here, so we've got something nice and fresh to weld to. I'm definitely wishing I had left more floor here. There's a small lip that we're going to be able to tie into there. I may end up actually bending the floor up so we can tie into the side here, but you know, that's hindsight for you. Wish I had foresight. Okay, now we have got to get some measurements taken on these sheets here because we need to get the floors in before we can do the trans tunnel. Now, depending on who's asking and what time of day it is, I might tell you that replacing this floor with sheet metal from a washing machine is probably the most genius idea I've ever had. Or it could be the stain on my family's good name that my father always warned me about not producing.
Ask him again in an hour. Ricola!
Okay, so let me explain what you just saw there. Paper template, traced onto the metal. Basically got it set so that this rib is going to be in the same place on both the passenger side and the driver's side. So it'll run kind of parallel to the outside wall. We're going to cut an inch over so that we can bend that down and give this some more rigidity. And we did leave it a little bit long, kind of in every direction, so that we can trim it to fit in there, and then once it fits, bend it properly, be done. Now, some of you guys have been watching for a while might be saying to yourself, Steve, brother, you look kind of thin these days. Well, I know, I told you last month I was losing weight. 25 pounds so far. But what you aren't seeing is how incredibly warm I am in this Crossthread Garage hoodie. We don't get a lot of income from any source related to what we're doing on YouTube. We have one very small way that you as a channel subscriber and watcher and enjoyer can help support the channel, and that's through CrossthreadGarage.com. You can buy all kinds of merchandise like Caitlin's famous high effort, low budget, mediocre results, or my favorite, Jack of all trades, master of most, or the OG t-shirt with just the old Crossthread logo and the bolt on the front. So every dollar that we make from the merch store goes directly to helping build this truck for Caitlin. I'm not making any money off of it. So if a sweatshirt's not in order and you're already thinking about next spring show season and the car show circuit you're gonna be at, grab yourself a t-shirt or a hat or any number of other stickers and things that are at the merch store and help support a great channel and a great girl in the effort to get this truck on the road this spring. And while you're at CrossthreadGarage.com, open up another tab on the browser and go back to YouTube and watch this video right up here. That's going to be our Arc Captain welder giveaway. When we get to 10,000 subscribers, we're giving away a welder. Not the big Lincoln, the actual good welder we have, which is the Arc Captain MiG 200. MiG, TIG, aluminum spool gun, gasless flux core wire or gas wire, and super easy to use and learn with, right, Caitlin? A little more confidence. There you go.
10 out of 10.
So as soon as we get to 10,000 subscribers, we're giving them that away to somebody who has commented on that video, subscribe to this channel, and subscribe to the Arc Captain channel. I looked the other day, there's like 170 comments on that video. So that literally means there's 170 potential winners. Them's pretty good odds if you are a gambling man or gal, you know. Don't endorse gambling though. I think there's I'm going to put an 800 number up here if you got a problem. Don't gamble. Bad idea. Also a bad idea. So since we only have 2 pieces of washing machine tin, I'm going to go ahead
We're not
and be
letting
the one.
Caitlin do it.
I'm going to be the one to mess it up if it gets messed up. All right? Don't want it to be on you. That's going to be on me. Oh man, oh yeah. Usually love a good sneeze, but that one hurt my back. So we have a bit of a problem here, which is we need to bend this in order to test fit it in there. And that is going to be a problem with this pressed rib here, because it is not going to want to bend straight across here. I think what I may need to do is actually relief cut this part right here, bend it, and then tack that back together wherever it lands and bends over top of it here. I think that's going to be my best solution on that. And then I need to relief cut this here, probably actually pie cut this so I can bend those sides down. So let me relief cut both of these. Actually, let me relief cut one of them. Okay, don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna relief cut one, bend it, see how this goes. How about that?
I think you're gonna have to hold it with here.
All right, now I recently moved all my carpentry equipment, buckets I should say, and in there is a angle finder that I often use. Can't find it anywhere, so this is going to be a, oh, we use some of that brazing wire
Brazing wire.
and get that angle properly figured out.
Oh.
Okay, all right. That is our angle. Can I get underneath either of these with this brazing wire? Pick yours up. There you go. All right. All right.
I'm gonna have to hold this here though, because it's not
We're
locked.
gonna
end up
bending
the
the brazing wire. Loosen yours. Keep going.
Of course, still gonna bend it.
Keep going. It's all right. Keep going. There you go. Stop right there. Let's check it.
Well, that wire was a little useless.
Yep, that was a bad idea.
Now we don't have a finder.
Look at that cab floor. Are you kidding me right meow? That's so good.
Well, does it not fit? Oh,
It's not a question of does it not fit. It's a question of why doesn't it fit. I know why it doesn't fit. I need to bend these sides. We built it 1.25 inches wider. So we need to bend those down here and here. And then we also, on this side, we have this down pipe for the exhaust coming from the turbo that we're gonna have to contend with. And I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna do with that yet. I might end up actually cutting this and then fabricating something around that to go back to this. So I'd forgotten about that. But let's get those edges bent and carry on. I know that shapes was not my strong point in kindergarten, but I'm pretty sure with it like that, I can't bend that now that I've got the bend in the middle. And I could straighten it out, but doing that would not only weaken the sheet metal here, but this is at 2 different angles. So it still wouldn't solve my problem. So we can do one of 2 things. We can either cut this off and get some of that 1-inch angle iron and then just drill holes through here, plug weld angle iron underneath this and build like a frame of angle iron. And that would be what our trans tunnel would also attach to, or option 2, clamp it down and beat it with a hammer until we damage something.
So beat it with a hammer.
Excellent idea. Get my body working hammer out. So we might run into the same problem here. We might actually just need to get that saw or that cutoff wheel and relief cut this.
Why'd you only do right there?
Because that's where this rib
Oh.
is. So just gently tap it down. Work all the way across. See, this is messing us up because now it's wanting to come out here. I think we may just need to cut this off here.
No. Perfect.
Well, it was an idea.
Let's see if it fits.
It's not going to fit because of the downpipe. But let's see if it's close.
What?
Well, I think we have an extra 2 inches on it.
Great.
So I think we can cut off what we just did and then bend it another inch back and it'll be right.
Why can't we just like cut off on this side?
This side is perfect. Well, perfect-ish. It's going to be all right. It's going to be good.
All right.
Going to be real mighty nice. Here, let's double check a few measurements here. 20.5, that's right. 13. Ooh, top is way too tall. We're going to need to take some off the top.
How tall is it?
Quite a bit. It's supposed to be 13 inches, and ours is 14 and a quarter. Well, that's 14.
How
So
do we even mess up like that?
we didn't mess it up. We didn't trim anything off the top because I purposely
Oh,
didn't trim
right.
anything off the top.
I forgot.
I wanted to make sure that I didn't end up with something that was so short that it couldn't meet the firewall. So that's why I said we're going to leave it a little long in every direction and trim to fit.
Right.
This is the trim to fit part. Sure, that's probably going to happen. All right. That is a custom floor if I've ever seen one. You know the best part about it, Caitlin?
What?
These lines
They line up?
sort of line up. They're not perfect, but they're pretty good. And once they're tacked in and everything's nice and stiff, we've got a good lip on this edge here that the trans tunnel is going to be able to mate to. And trans tunnel then we're going to do up, one bend, cross, down, and into this guy over here. So
And then we'll put like a boot.
driver's side is actually 2 inches. No, was it 2 inches or? Yes, 15 inches that
The
side,
side was 2.
17 inches on this side. So the driver's side is actually 2 inches more floor space than the passenger side because of that trans, which is great because you have 3 pedals that you need to get over here. So obviously need to do some trimming here to get around this up pipe. And I'm actually going to end up taking this piece off. And when we bring that firewall down, we're going to form it around the down pipe across the back here. Probably going to do some sort of like double walled insulation right here since it's directly behind the turbo and these up pipes here. But that's an engineering problem for another day.
Right.
It is, what time is it? Late o'clock?
10.
10 o'clock on a school night. So tomorrow we'll be back in here. You have a game tomorrow?
Yes.
After her game, we'll be back in here to trim out the edges here and there, and then form our trans tunnel and get it roughed in find the hole, get it cut here, and then we'll just go ahead and tack everything in. Actually, to tack everything in, well, you'll see tomorrow. Quite a bit of work to do tomorrow. You got to deburr the edges, clean them up. Got to re-weld these seams here that we cut so that we could bend it. Yeah, quite a bit left to do. Overcut that side over there a fair amount when I cut down for that downpipe. So gonna have to get that sorted out. But all in all, I'm feeling not horrible about it.
It's nice.
Which is a good way to finish a project, you know? I don't hate it that much. So, washing machine, floor pans, approved.
Approved. Hey guys, it's the next day and we're back in the garage. And if you guys have been watching for a while, you know we've been talking about having a removable firewall. Well, that was kind of before my dad realized the errors of his ways and finally got this cab in the right spot. We've been talking about having to remove the firewall so we could service the valve covers and the up pipes. But really now, we're just thinking about building around that because we have enough room to.
So we've got enough space in there to really create enough of an air gap that we don't have to worry about the heat from the back of that turbo. And actually, Caitlin, let me go to the other side and I'll tell you what Caitlin and I were talking about here before we started rolling. And that is, we actually have an awesome opportunity here. Let me show you.
Oh yeah.
We have an awesome opportunity here. Those floor pans aren't tacked in yet. So never mind. I won't. That seat's way higher than. Need more like a brake seat. Yes.
That's wet paint.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, bad.
It's okay. I was just touching up back here. Anyways, what I was saying. What was I saying? Awesome opportunity.
Right.
So I think when we build this trans tunnel, which we're about to bend up for you, we're actually going to try and keep it pretty level all the way across here. Now, keeping it balanced in the truck is really out the window because we already talked about the fact that we have more space on the driver's side floor than the passenger side floor pan. So we're not really looking for symmetry here, we're looking for function. So I think if we keep it level, we can actually use the space back here above the back of the transmission for either a push to start button or a key or switches for lights or
A cup holder.
cup holders for your big gulps. And then we can actually come in here from below the dash and come straight down and back to that firewall. If the firewall, you know, if we've got 6 inches of space there, and actually put gauges right in here in the middle. So I've been thinking about using this old gauge cluster and building like a custom mount for us, like a CTS monitor, because we are going to have an OBD2 port to plug in and monitor.
An OBD2?
OBD2 port to monitor everything that's going on with our engine. So I've been thinking that this space here is a perfect size for it if we just built a new surround. That might still happen, but we could do some mechanical gauges right across the front here. Or we could do like some faux gauges, F-A-U-X. Since we're kind of ratting this thing out, and do like an old gauge cluster like this and use some of these old.
What is in this box?
Well, I used to have a bunch of like brass gauges in there and avionics. So I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Or at least don't break everything. At least that's what I've been thinking this morning. So
What are all these gauges for?
those gauges,
How do you have these?
all those Bosch gauges over there, including a GPS speedo, are for
Speedo?
my truck, which I bought before we left Colorado.
Oh, here's the brass
3.5
gauges,
years
Dad.
ago?
Yeah, this is the moon and sun one.
Yeah, moon and sun.
Yeah. There's like a moon and then a sun. Well, that's just what it looks like because who puts that as the dial?
I don't know. That's
A
a
moon.
3.5 inch. It's probably just a old pressure gauge. Yeah, PSI. The American Self-Lighting Lamp Company.
Oh, here's
Peoria,
another one.
Illinois. What's that one look like?
Same. They're from Dayton, Ohio, though.
Well, not this one. This one's from Peoria, Illinois.
Never mind.
Anyways, doing some custom gauges in the middle there and leaving us a big air gap to work with.
Whose door is this?
I don't know. What's it say?
Crawford door. Crawford.
Crawford. That's definitely what it says. Wouldn't it be cool to do like a weird like starting sequence where we put this in the middle? You have to like turn it for like your main power switch or something.
Like a wind up?
No, not wind up. Just like clunk, like that's your main power.
Well, what if we didn't do that? What if we did it like with like a wind up box, like wind up thing? So
like a jack in the box?
No, like the circle things. Like, you know, it has 2 holes in it. You crank it, and it's it's like, okay. Okay. Never mind.
If you guys know what she's talking about, let me know in the comments.
Oh, there's a Sharpie.
I have a Sharpie in my hand.
I need to show you before I forget.
So anyways, we're back on the transmission tunnel over here. And I think what she's talking about is a keyed insert that you twist and wind up. All right. This is our front of the washing machine. And I will tell you guys, tacking this in here, I'm a little disappointed. The quality of this, even though it's 18 gauge, it's obviously not a high grade steel because it does want to burn through pretty easy. So that's going to be a challenge now that we've already built it and trying to figure out how to tack them all in. So anywho.
I mean, it is a washing machine.
It is a washing machine. You are correct. So I went ahead and laid out, found a center line here. I don't have to give you all the measurements, but basically centered this piece off of 2 arbitrary lines, 33.5 inches wide here. Found the center, plotted out a few things, and we basically ended up with 2 lines that we're going to be bending. This is going to stay flat. These I'm going to leave long and trim only after we get it in and mark the bottom of the floor pans where we folded the lips over on the floor pan. So we'll mark those once it's in and we've got this level, and then we'll also mark the hole here. Let's get this lined out and locked down here.
Hold it down, Marty.
I don't think we're going for 90 degrees here. We kind of want it to, it's gonna end up splaying out a little bit to the floors.
Mm-hmm. So for school, I have a project I have to do, a Spanish project that is due really soon. And I have to go to a restaurant, order in Spanish for myself and for a compañera, a friend.
That's your Spanish assignment you were supposed to do over Christmas break?
No, this is due like this week.
You know, I'm not bilingual, but I do know a little Indian.
Yeah?
Yeah, his name is Suresh Singh. He's about this tall.
I don't know if that's allowed, Dad.
I think Suresh would find it funny.
What are you doing?
Realizing I should have just put this in from the back. Here, help me get this locked down. Okay.
How are you gonna know if you bent it?
Too far?
Yeah.
I'm assuming we're gonna put it in,
Bad.
kind of eyeball it once or twice.
How are you gonna get it out? What have we done?
Ta-da! Actually, that might be perfect because I know the passenger side needs to be a little bit more straight, and this driver's side can be a little more splayed out. So.
Why is it? Wait, isn't it the other way around?
Isn't it the other way around?
Also, you did it wrong. This is the driver's side. This is the passenger side.
No. Look, you can be sassy if you want. You can decide you don't want to work anymore. You could even tell me tomorrow, it's not for me. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm out. That's fine with me. I just need you to know that I will not hesitate to turn you into the inner fender well linings of that pickup. You make your decision and you let me know.
Well,
hold on.
That's gonna be us, though. We're gonna get to the end of this and not even like want to make or even buy a chair. I'm just gonna throw something in there. A beanbag. Is that legal?
Not putting a beanbag in there. No. No, it's not legal, I don't think.
It says who though?
Any police officer you talk to?
This is really big.
Yeah. Well, this is like 28 inches and we only have room for like 26. So, forgot about that. We need to trim.
Yeah, you do.
But let's just see. It's all right.
How is
That's workable.
Where is this? What is filling this up? Dad, what is filling this up?
Well, see, here's my thought on that. So, excellent question, Caitlin. I think what we're going to end up doing is cutting from here straight up, and then cutting back here straight down, and then closing that little pie and welding this back together. So this ends up going like that. That's what I think, because that's what I did on this side. Yeah, kind of tested it over here already.
Excuse me. Oh.
See that?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm looking at though.
That's okay. That's true most of the time.
Wait, how's it gonna close it?
Huh?
How is it gonna close?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean?
I pie cut this corner out of here and already brought the lip we folded over. I already brought it back in and tacked it 6 times down there.
Okay.
So we need to trim that.
That is a really big tunnel.
Well, obviously it's going to go down further, sweetheart.
Well, I'm just saying it's a really big tunnel. Yours is not that big.
Well, mine, you're right, is not that big. Actually, that might be a good time to give you guys a little insight into my previous trans tunnel building experience. So on my 47 Chevy, this is the trans tunnel I built. That's a barrel. There's nothing underneath that. It's literally just the barrel. And the top of the boots I was wearing when I built it. So,
we can't really use that as our reference.
Right. So you can see why we're having a little trouble trying to, fabricate this from scratch.
You could always just use a barrel.
I'm all out of barrels. I mean, I got a good trash barrel, but I'm not ruining that to make you a trans tunnel.
No, that'd be preposterous.
Let's pie cut that side.
Yeah.
Oh, angle grinder, where are you? Tell you what, let's do the smart thing and start small.
So like,
and we'll start with it centered, and then we can go out from there. So that's 2 inches. Let's do 2 inches. Oops, Sharpied on my finger. 2 inches there. Okay, you guys catching all that, but see, it seems odd. The measurements we took in there seem to favor the driver's side, D. So what we're going to do is actually center it first, and if we need to go one way or the other, we'll do that. But I get confused when the measurements are inverted and flipped around, and
This is why you don't use math in real life, because literally measurements don't even work. Ever.
Right. It's perfect sense. Round 7. Whatever this is now.
I think it still needs to go like this way.
Okay. You got more to cut? Should have marked the side. Should have marked it while you had it in there.
How did you want me to mark it?
We don't need to cut this side anymore, this side when it comes out. But we are on top of this now.
So then we'll just...
So grab that square over there.
It's not even a square.
Put this down here against your floor. And go ahead and hit that line right across the top there. Just a good approximation. We're on something. What are we on? I think we might actually just be on the front of the transmission here.
On. Oh. There's like little lips in this.
Yeah.
And you're on one of, well, like barely. On
the side?
Yeah.
Okay, because we're on the top here too. So we probably need to come back up a little bit.
Well, I don't know if it's that whole lip holding that up. Like it's barely on there.
On the back here, you mean?
Yeah, you're not on it anymore.
There you go. All right, so I don't hate that at all, but I don't love it. Got a little bit of gap here. We need to actually get this back in to the metal brake and open that back up so it comes back and meets this. That ended up being just about perfect. And only problem is I want to be about that high so that we don't end up flapping and vibrating and tapping on the transmission or something like that. What do you think, kiddo? It's coming together, huh?
Did you say something?
Yes,
Just
I
kidding.
did.
Just kidding.
Okay, we've made a decision. Right, Caitlin?
Right.
Transmission tunnel meeting the seat pan rail that we put in here. So we were going to kind of square that out, but it just looked clunky. This looks way more
Not clunky.
not clunky. Sleek, I think is the technical word. So we are going to do a little bit of trimming here. You can also see we put a few, put a few bends in the side here to kind of give it a little bit of a radius because, well, we needed to. And this side, we got to pull that out when we tack it in, but otherwise it fits just fine. So we've got the sides marked on the floor. We're gonna pull that out, measure down 1.5 inches, cut it, and clean all the paint off of that. That'll match the inside edge of the floor pan that we rolled in earlier yesterday. So go ahead and pull that out of there, Caitlin. Get it back on the table. Let's get it cut, and then we'll get it tacked in along the outside edge here. While she's doing that, let me explain to you what we're gonna do here.
Well, I'm doing it. Fine, I'll just build the whole truck by myself.
Yeah, that'd be good. Why don't you just finish it up for me? This cab has got to come off one more time. So we're gonna have to pull the front clip off. It's just loosely bolted on there right now anyways. But we're gonna have to take the cab and actually roll it onto its back, onto the frame here. So it's gonna end up sitting back like that. That will give us access to the underside of this floor. We haven't done any kind of rust treatment or paint since putting in this piece, although we did paint the bottom side of this before we tacked it in there. But the inner rockers, all that stuff, the bottom side of this floor, it's all gonna need seam sealed, it's all gonna need painted, and we're gonna be coating it with some Sweet Patina N1 textured coating. Think of it like a Raptor liner, except from a company you actually wanna buy from. So we're gonna be doing that once we get the firewall in, and we're gonna tint the N1 coating, so it's going to have a textured kind of heat and sound insulating coating on the bottom of the cab, on the firewall, and we're going to tint it green like the original green color on that firewall. So all that's going to happen hopefully in our next video, but once we have it up in the air, then we can go ahead and drill and plug weld these seams together here, and then we'll put the cab back down, mount the front end for the last time, get those bolts tight, and we should be ready to move on then to getting the engine running, I think would be the next thing. So what do you plan on doing with that flap disc?
So we had to clean it off. Oh.
Well, we gotta cut quite a bit before we do that. So rewind.
I think we could maybe
clean up the edges before. No, you need to cut so that you can clean up all the edges first.
Dang it.
Yep. Whoops. Got a little ahead of yourself. It happens to the best of us. Like me 6 months ago when I thought, we'll just go ahead and tear this truck down. It won't take us very long to put it back together.
But you
all
want
right.
to call? Not
Let's fit it in there, kiddo.
I just realized I can't see or hear anything. That looks good.
It does, except we didn't get the... I talked about straightening that out over there, but we didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, I did it back here. I didn't
Oh.
do it up here. This metal is in the way. So I think what we need to do is get the back tacked in here first.
That's what I was gonna do. Except I'm not doing this because I can't weld on thin metal.
I'll do it. All right. I might have you, since you like that that creeper so much, I might have you go underneath.
Oh, you're welding?
Well, I'm just going to be tack welding along the seam, but if you go underneath and hold those pieces together, so
I
the
don't like the creeper that much.
You're always moving around on that creeper.
Okay. Oh, whoa, brother.
Underneath, you're going to need to come underneath here and actually pull these together.
I'm coming.
Or I can.
I'm literally going.
Right like that. Perfect. Let me do about right here. Push here.
Okay.
Push this.
Damn.
Well, then why when I let go does it separate?
Because, oh,
You need to actually push it.
you said 7 inches, and I might have been up like a foot and 7 inches. But... Okay, go.
No, it's got to come closer. You got to come up higher.
I can't. You're gonna weld my finger.
Okay, well then I'll hold it and I'll weld it. All right, go up about 6 inches.
Right here.
Yep, push hard.
Don't weld my finger.
Keep pushing.
You didn't let me get there.
You're right. That looks horrible.
Yeah, you didn't let me get there.
Well, guys, the question here isn't could it have been done better? Of course, it could have been done better. The question is, do we want to put perfect in the way of good? In other words, do we really need the floor pans to look like they were made by Ken Diggett Design in order to enjoy this truck?
Nope.
No. So we took an old washing machine that tried to burn our house down and turned it into floor pans and a trans tunnel.
So join us next week when the floor pans and trans tunnel try to burn my truck down.
You know what to do to find us next week. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you then.